What do Iran, Israel, and Saudi Arabia have in common? Almost nothing. Except one thing. They all want to be close to India. But how does India pull off the impossible? Building military ties with Israel, oil deals with Saudi Arabia, and strategic infrastructure with Iran, all at the same time, without alienating anyone. Welcome to Strategic Vanguard. Today we're diving deep into one of the most delicate and strategic diplomatic tightropes India is walking today. India's role in the Middle East, and how it's balancing three powerful but conflicting players: Iran, Israel, and Saudi Arabia. Grab a cup of chai and stay with us as we explore the geopolitics, defense strategy, energy security, and India's long-term vision in West Asia. To understand India's complex web of relationships in the Middle East, we must first grasp why this region is of such enormous importance to India. This is not just about politics, it's about energy, economics, security, and people. Let's break it down into 5 key pillars. 1. Energy security. The oil and gas lifeline. India is the world's third largest energy consumer, and more than 60% of its crude oil imports come from the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and the UAE are among India's top suppliers. As India's economy grows, so does its energy appetite. By 2040, India's energy demand is expected to double. Natural gas from Qatar also fuels Indian industry and households. What this means: any disruption in the Persian Gulf, whether due to conflict, sanctions, or blockades, can send shockwaves through India's economy. Maintaining good relations with all sides is not optional. It's national interest. Indian diaspora, people power abroad. There are over 9 million Indians living and working in Gulf countries, especially in the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Qatar. These Indians work across sectors: construction, healthcare, finance, education, and even media. In 2023 alone, Indians in the Gulf sent back over $40 billion in remittances, a crucial support to rural households back home. These workers also act as cultural ambassadors, forming a living bridge between India and the Arab world. What this means: India cannot afford to be on bad terms with Gulf states, not just for oil, but to protect the livelihoods of millions of its citizens. 3. Strategic geography and maritime security. The Middle East sits at the crossroads of India's westward trade and military interests. The Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb are key choke points. If these are blocked, India's energy supply chain is endangered. India's Navy patrols these waters regularly under Operation Sankalp, ensuring safe passage of Indian ships during times of tension. What this means: India's influence in the region isn't just about diplomacy, it's about power projection and maintaining freedom of navigation. 4. Security and counterterrorism cooperation. Post 9/11 and especially after the 2008 Mumbai attacks, India intensified security cooperation with Middle Eastern states. Israel provides India with cutting-edge counter-terror tech, drones, and cyber defense. The UAE and Saudi Arabia have assisted India with extradition of fugitives and intelligence sharing. Joint naval and air force exercises with the Gulf further cement security ties. What this means: India's ties are not limited to soft diplomacy. They include hard-edged security partnerships in an unstable region. 5. Trade and investment opportunities. The Middle East is more than oil, it's also a rapidly transforming economic partner. The UAE-India CEPA agreement is boosting two-way trade toward the $100 billion mark. Gulf sovereign wealth funds like ADIA and PIF are investing in Indian infrastructure, real estate, fintech, and renewable energy. Israel is emerging as a high-tech R&D partner for Indian agriculture, AI, water management, and defense. What this means: India is no longer just a buyer of oil. It is positioning itself as an equal economic partner and investment destination. Summary of Chapter 1. The Middle East isn't just India's neighbor to the west. It's a region tied into our economy, our energy security, our strategic depth, and our diaspora strength. India's foreign policy in the Middle East is not a luxury, It's a lifeline, and it must be managed with precision, pragmatism, and long-term vision. On the surface, India and Israel seem like unlikely partners. Different religions, different histories, different regions. But when it comes to shared security concerns, innovation, and strategic resilience, the India-Israel partnership is among the strongest in Asia. Let's explore the 5 dimensions of this evolving and potent relationship. 1. From backdoor friendship to bold diplomacy. For decades after independence, India supported the Palestinian cause and kept its ties with Israel under the radar. India recognized Israel in 1950, but kept diplomatic distance during the Cold War due to non-alignment, domestic political sensitivities, and dependence on Arab oil. It wasn't until 1992 that full diplomatic ties were established, and since then, cooperation has steadily grown. The real shift happened under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In 2017, Modi became the first ever Indian PM to visit Israel, skipping Palestine, which was unprecedented. His counterpart, Benjamin Netanyahu, visited India in 2018. The symbolism was powerful. This was no longer a secret alliance, it was a public, strategic embrace. What this means: India no longer hides its ties with Israel. It treats Israel as a sovereign partner, not a taboo topic, signaling a mature, independent foreign policy. 2. Defense and security cooperation, the backbone. If there's one area where India-Israel ties are ironclad, it's defense. Israel is among the top 3 arms suppliers to India, alongside Russia and France. Key imports include Spider air defense systems, Heron and Searcher UAVs, Barak 8 missiles, jointly developed with DRDO, Tevar and Galil rifles used by Indian special forces, electronic warfare and cyber intelligence tools. After the 1999 Kargil War, Israel rushed critical ammunition and laser-guided bombs to India, quietly but effectively. Israel also helps India with border surveillance tech, counterinsurgency training, joint development of cutting-edge systems. What this means: Israel is not just a seller, it's a strategic defense partner, with joint R&D and co-production, enhancing India's indigenous capabilities. 3. Agri-tech, water management, and innovation. Beyond the battlefield, Israel supports India in food and water security. Israel is a leader in precision agriculture, desalination, and drip irrigation. Vital for water-stressed Indian states, over 29 Indo-Israel centers of excellence have been set up in India to share knowledge with Indian farmers. These centers train over 100,000 farmers annually, leading to higher yields and water-efficient farming. Startups from both countries are also collaborating in AI, medtech, clean energy, and cybersecurity under the India-Israel Industrial R&D and Technological Innovation Fund, I4F. What this means: the partnership isn't just military, it's developmental. It touches the daily lives of Indian citizens, especially farmers. 4. Intelligence and counterterrorism cooperation. Behind closed doors, India and Israel share a deep relationship in intelligence sharing and counterterrorism. After the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, Israel offered both technical and advisory support. India's elite units like the NSG, Black Cats, and RAW have trained with or coordinated with Mossad. The two countries share concerns over Islamist extremism, cyber warfare, and non-state actors. These ties are discreet but extremely important for India's internal security and border defense. What this means: India and Israel have built a shadow network of trust and cooperation behind the scenes, critical in an increasingly digital and asymmetric war era. 5. Navigating the Arab-Israel conflict, India's delicate dance. Now comes the tricky part. How does India maintain warm relations with Israel without upsetting Arab partners or alienating Iran? This is where strategic diplomacy comes in. India continues to support a two-state solution for the Israel-Palestine conflict, on paper at least. It sends humanitarian aid to Gaza while doing billion-dollar deals with Tel Aviv. During the 2023 Israel-Hamas war, India condemned terror attacks but called for restraint from both sides, a carefully balanced response. What this means? India walks a diplomatic tightrope, keeping Arab nations calm while investing deeply in Israel's partnership. It's not easy, but so far it's working. Summary of Chapter 2. India and Israel have transformed their relationship from a silent affair to a full-blown strategic alliance, built on defense, tech, trust, and innovation. Yet, even as the two democracies draw closer, India must always weigh the geopolitical consequences of that friendship, especially with its partners in Tehran and Riyadh watching closely.